Okay, hello, everybody. Good evening to you in Monrovia, Liberia, and good evening to everybody in Liberia. Because it doesn't matter. We make it sound like Monrovia is Liberia, but good evening to Mama Liberia. Welcome to another edition of Liberia Shall Rise. I am your host, Augustine Sharif. I'm here with Mr. Sapalucia, and he is on Saturdays. Saturday afternoon, he hosts a special broadcast on this platform called Healthcare Watch. That is his area of specialty. So, welcome to the broadcast, folks. And those of you joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, here around the world, we say welcome to the broadcast and share the broadcast. Today is going to be table talk. Mr. Sapalucia, how are you doing today, boss?
I'm wonderful. It's a wonderful weekend here. We already started the spirit of Flag Day, August 24th coming next Sunday. So in that mood, we started to start feature. I mean, we have started featuring our Liberian flag, even though we've been not agree totally politically and constitutionally with the design, but we started to celebrate it because that's what we honor right now.
Yes. I mean, look, I see you in the spirit. I see you with your red, white, and blue. I mean, I wish I could say, I was in the spirit, but I'm not ready. I'll be ready next weekend. So
Okay.
Flag Day around the corner. So we'll be here. But yeah, so
So
go ahead. You're gonna say something.
no. I just want to say, look, thanks to those that are joining us, and today is a bright day. From here, I'm supposed to go and play some soccer game again. But in the spirit of spirit, next week, man, if anybody can around the Houston area or around Texas, you want to come to Houston, we are celebrating Flag Day full blast. We're going to have a Byron IE game next week, and as you can see, I'm a rare boy, so I'm going to be that winger for Byron next week.
I was hoping
Yes.
you're gonna say you're gonna have old timer versus young timer, but it wherever
Yeah.
you can roll. I haven't
Yeah.
played for a while, though. I got to get back in the groove of things, man. I don't practice, but I just know it's in my head. When I get out there, it's different stroke, so I can
Move to
still roll.
Texas. Move to Houston. Every Saturday morning we're on the field. Move to Houston.
I can still roll. But you know what? Let's go. Let's get the show on the road, man. And to our
Yes,
friends
sir.
in Monrovia, we say you'll be joining us on Freedom FM 87.9. Thank you to the guys in studio, Chris, and the rest of the team. We say thank you so much for what you do. But today is going to be those of you who have been following our programs on this platform. Today is the third Sunday of the month. You should have been having what we call This Could Be You, where we bring a prominent Liberian, whether the person is in the diaspora or the person is in Liberia. We're bringing them on the platform. We do interview, but unfortunately, we're unable to get our guest on today. But the show must go on. So we are going to replace today's segment with what I'm calling rapid fire. We are going to take some of the top stories that took place in the country, and we are just going to be going through them as we see fit. Sapa Lucia, to get started, I would say August has been, maybe I'm just paying attention, but August has been a very busy month. And I want to say we have had some events, we have had some headaches, we have had some griefs in the country, and a lot of different things have been taking place. And today we are going to be just kind of touching some of those stories, beginning with August 7th. The publicity was raised for August 7th. August 7th, we are going to say, you know, all right. So Dr. Emmanuel George is going to be joining us as well. Just to go back so I don't lose my train of thought, I was saying August has been a very busy month. Maybe I'm just beginning to pay attention to our sweet little country. But August has been a busy month, and we have had some misfortune. We have some events that took place. We have had deaths. We have, I mean, just the ups and downs, you name it, beginning with August 7th. August 7th, the people of Liberia, the publicity was around. You and I saw it on Facebook starting June or July. Say no to drugs, August 7th. And we were saying at least I was saying to myself, this is going to be another hype publicity that does not live up to the expectation. But not to go back on it, but since we did a segment on this already, what was your take on the August 7th event? I mean, in my opinion, I thought it was successful. The coordination I saw was beautiful, and I thought the people were just right on point. So I thought August 7th was really a success to the country. What did you think of it?
So I know we talked about it last week, but
Yeah.
after the August 7th, there were another trend that have taken place. You and I on LU campus were there, and you know Dan Slay with Jalatan.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you yeah, if you follow in the news, I think it was I may get the day wrong, but last week, because today is Sunday, there was a demolition of what they call the hotspot for the addicted drugs
Just for the record,
abuser.
those who say I didn't go to LU, just for the record, there's my ID right there. Go ahead, Sabusia.
Yeah, so the community took, and I guess because of the publicity that was given to the fight against drugs in Liberia, the Jalatan community took it a step further. Now, whether I agree with the step they took, um, but the approach was early. I just forget the mean, but one early morning while everyone was asleep around about 1, 2 o'clock, they attacked a makeshift shelter that was there for the abusers, and they demolished it and put it ablaze. All right. So according to them, they have called police attention. They have reached out to the police several times, but no action has been taken. And from that piece that I read, there were different point of view given on how why it led to that and what can be done to kind of push this fight against drug to make it really serious and be more intentional about it, right? So what I think one of I think the lawyer for that community is one or the either the council president or whatever it may be, one Dempster Brown. He's an older, I think he was a lawyer for a long time in Liberia. I knew him personally. He was one of the guys who spoke, and even Lema Bowie, he spoke in the same vein. But almost what you and I were talking about, similar thing came out in that piece where they were blaming the police of either their inaction when it comes to addressing the cause or whatever that is leading to drugs, right? That they are, yes, they are fighting the abusers or they are arresting the abusers, but there are more to it than just that. Like the last time we said it here, that if you want to kill a snake, the best way to do it to eliminate that snake is to cut it head. So again, people are focusing on the importers mainly, right? Because most people believe that if you cut that aspect off, if you cut off that aspect, then the drugs, the inflow of drugs will be limited, right? And then you will have less exposure for our youth to be less exposed to the drugs. So again, everybody is saying, why it is true, we appreciate your effort in fighting drugs, but you are still not putting more efforts or you are not being intentional in fighting the drugs because the accusation, and this is allegation, I don't have any evidence to it. And some of them who in that piece said they didn't have evidence to it, but based on the pattern, they feel that those in leadership in the police force or in the security force, the justice system or the government are not being intentional in addressing the fight against drugs.
Okay, so that's where I want to also start this particular broadcast, right? Because we already talked about the August 7th march. We talked about that, and you and I, we both agree. And Dr. Josh, welcome to the show. It's good to see you again, my boss. And good to see. I mean, do your opening statement before because I really got some question for you today, boss. I got a lot of questions on the table for you. So say hello to the people so we can hear your voice.
Good afternoon, those of you who are joining us in Monrovia on Freedom FM, Monrovia and different parts of Liberia on Freedom FM 89.7, and on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're joining us from. Good afternoon. It's a wonderful day here. Very high temperature, but yes, it's good to be here to discuss this issue of drugs, something that we all have passion and working in the field. We'll share our opinion and see how we go forward from there.
All right, thank you, Dr. George. Welcome again. And so, Sapalucia, you went straight into the center part of our discussion because I want us to spend at least 15 minutes talking about this. I got other things for us to talk about. But yeah, so what I have seen, Dr. George, I'm coming to you first. I think we all saw the August 7th march. We agree it was a success. I think it was well organized. It was the first march that at least I have seen in Liberia that was not politicized. People from all walks of life came in to represent our community. I saw the Fuller Student Association. I saw PROSA. I saw people from different groups. They all came. And we said it was a success. But Dr. George, I want to come to you. You work in this area, at least maybe you work with some people as well. What the citizens are doing though, it set the place of the citizens to now go to drug houses and start to burn communities down and start to take it upon themselves and say, there's a drug dealer in our house. We're going to go in our community and break it down because the police have done nothing about it. It set the place of the citizen. Focus on that piece for a second. Let's talk about that piece.
Okay, in one of my fields, long time when I used to be in a classroom, we call them the general public. The general public, they are very emotional. They do not have all the information. They act based on what they feel is right, and you can never trust the general public. Even when you plan riot, when you plan, let me say riot, you plan a protest. You plan a protest. Mostly, you plan for people who you believe will be level-headed. But then the general public join it, and the general public would be the people who you will see destroy and breaking things down because they speak to their emotions. So by burning people homes down, attacking people because you think, you believe, you heard that they are selling drugs, um, it is not a proper way to go because again, the whole issue of drugs and what we've been talking about is not, if there is not a demand, there will not be a supply. That's the law of economics. There have to be a demand before there is a supply. And in a fight against drugs, you have to work very, as you fight the supply, you have to work very hard to fight against the demand. Because once the demand, just like, I mean, last week when you guys discussed it, which I appreciate the conversation, let me just tell the people, like, the drug crisis is everywhere. I work in a drug treatment, a treatment facility. It's a crisis everywhere. It's a crisis that is being battled left, front, forward. Um, Special forces in the U.S. are set aside in the FBI, in the CIA to track down drug cartel, but they get smarter every day because there is a demand for that supply, and and when you work in the field, you try to work towards seeing how you can reduce the demand that is there for the supply. So on the one hand, let me not take most of the time. On the one hand, let us congratulate those who plan the march, but that is the end of it. The march is just 0.0000001% of the fight. So that's how far we are with this fight. 0.0001% of this fight. But we want to see something forward. We saw all the members of the legislature wearing T-shirt, being part of this. Good. But let's see the 2025 budget. Are you going to put $10 million to fight drugs? Are you going to supply this rehabilitation center with the Sabuke, the Norcan, and other things that you need to immediately attack people who are under the influence of drugs? Are you going to be able to set up counselors, set up psychologists to work with it? So yes, we have done a march. That is, again, in my opinion, is 0.00001% of this fight. The legislature now will tell us whether they see. I saw the president also taking pictures. Let's see the 2026 budget. That's where I'm looking. If we are serious, we see serious money. But if there is no money in it, that we can march as much as we want to march, that will not start the supply. It will not start the demand.
Thank you, Dr. Josh. We really appreciate that perspective. I mean, basically, I think we have said it. Sabalusi, I want to bring the same question back to you, though. Community taking it upon themselves and saying, I mean, is it just going to be another thing that lead into community uprising against neighbors? I know I like the point that Dr. Josh made about the emotions of the public, but is it the right way to go? You are giving a beautiful story here at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, so like I said, I personally don't agree with that approach because we knowing our country, and I think we had a show here where we discussed similar thing when it comes to people combating armed robbery, and we know what some of the victims were. Some of them were not armed robbers, but as our society is, that's what happens sometimes. But let us also look at from a justice the judicial point of view as well, or from the judicial end as well. You and I remember during the CDC-led government, there were some drug suppliers, right, that were arrested, sent to court, but based on some judicial technicality that came out, those guys were let go. Some people said the government did not do that due diligence. Some people said yeah, they did that due diligence, but the code were brought. There was so many speculation that came out of that case, and at the end of the day, nothing happened. But besides drugs, we have seen a pattern in Liberia where even corruption, when you're fighting corruption, people are arrested, they have the evidence, they go to the judiciary system, but again, we don't see anything happening. So I think it's the same approach that is going on here. And because, in my opinion, the state, those responsible, those who have the authority, those who are clothed with the authority, are failing to do their jobs, is creating the room, right, or the environment for community to take laws into their hands. Let us think about it. In the United States, for example, you and I know there's a huge crisis. I'm right in Houston, and I sometimes visit the third world. There's a huge drugs crisis in America, but you don't see citizens going and attacking drugs or entity or the supplier or whatever or the dealers in the street. No, because the state is doing their job. They're doing everything they're supposed to do to fight, to combat the illicit drugs use. But in Liberia, on the other hand, it is not. Even if the police arrest, they have all the evidence. They bring it to the judiciary system. They're not getting the justice that they want. And I, as a police guy, if I'm doing that all the time, first of all, I'm getting underpaid, right? I'm underpaid, and if I'm arresting these guys and put in the justice system, they get no justice. Public don't get justice. Guess what? I will let some of them go and receive the little or 2 cents I can receive from them, and let them continue that deal, because the demand is there, the supply is there, and you are asking me to stop that, but you're not giving me the resources to stop the demand and the supply, right? So with that, I think we have to fight this intentionally, like I said, and we got to be holistic about it, including rehabilitation and all the other pieces that add to it.
Yeah, and that's very right. Again, I think our host, Mr. Sherry, have an emergency, so uh, and you're right. You're right about that, Sapolos. Yeah, that uh, we have to give it to. But let us not fail to realize that people who are in the drug business, they are people who have money, they have finance, they pay good lawyers, and the good lawyers will always look for the loophole in the law. That's the reason why before you take a case of that magnitude to court, you have to make sure that the government also have good lawyers, because I mean, they are going to fight it tooth and nail. They are going to tamper with witnesses. They are going to threaten witnesses. So it's not easy fighting against drug laws. I mean, everywhere in the world, everywhere that this thing is $1 trillion trail, and these guys are making a lot of money. So they have people in the books. They have people in the police in the books. They have people, lawyers, very good lawyers on the book. They have FBI, CID officers in Liberia on the book. They have the drugs people on the book. So they know the loophole. The lawyers are being told how to follow, how to. So sometimes it will be frustrating in court, and it happened here. If you watch some of these drug films like that you follow, you find out that some of them are. That the recent one I think was in France. A headquarter came in the prison, let it down, pick one of the most notorious lawyer, drug dealer. And see how that was planned, sophisticated plan while he was in prison. Flew into that prison, picked him up, and got him out of the place. And you got over because these guys have a lot of money available to them and they can spread it around. So we will be frustrated with the justice system, and that's why I'm saying that this is a holistic approach. It's not only fighting the suppliers, but we have to also work with those who are demanding it. And in order to work with them, Caroline, I agree with you. We have to start teaching our people how much drug education do we give in Liberia? How much do we give in our churches when people are struggling with this disease? Because again, let me say very clearly now, addiction is a disease that have been proven by science. We used to have problem with it before, but it is a disease. And when people are struggling with this disease, how do we work with them in our churches, in our community, in our society to rehabilitate them? And that's where money will have to come in. All the noise we're making with marching in the street, it will come down to the penny and the facet and the quarter, the penny, the quarter, and the dollar. That's what will come down to. And that's why I look forward. All these presidents of the Senate, Speaker of the House that are wearing the T-shirt are looking forward to the 2026 budget. And let us see whether these people were serious or they were just photoshopping.
Okay, we get your point, gentlemen. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. I apologize for that break there for a second, but thank you for continuing the conversation. But I want to just kind of touch one more thing on this particular subject line, and then we'll move to our next story. But so starting with you, Sapalusi, I want to go just recently. Again, I forget the community name, but I will tell you the story, and you will say yes. Remember, three young people, they were, I think there were four. Apparently, they gathered themselves somewhere where they took this particular drug. And the story that you heard was they have no idea what they took. But you and myself know how fentanyl is killing people in this country. But those four young men that went and took this particular drug, I listened to one of them in their interview. He said he didn't take much. Maybe that's why he survived. But three of his friends, they were found dead. Three of his friends. They said we took something they have no idea what they took. And because they're always chasing this high, three young people were dead in just a single puff, however they took it. The community is fighting. People are tired. Mothers are out there and say, look, we're tired with this. We want to move on. Can you truly blame the community for stepping up, though? Can you blame the frustration of the people? When we run out of rice, we go out, we protest. When we run out of petroleum, we protest. Why can't the community not do this and we're having problem with it?
No, I think again the reason some of us are cautious about it, because I'm not saying I've totally against it, but we got to be cautious about it because of the pattern that we have seen in our community. Like I have alluded to previous statement about when they were combating armed robbery, we saw people who went to visit their girlfriend and they were killed only because the one story that I know of, a boyfriend went to visit his girlfriend, not knowing the girlfriend was married, and when the husband came in, they said he was an armed robber. Now she is caught red-handed by her husband. So this poor guy is killed, and people after investigation they found out that he was really not an armed robber. He was just a boyfriend who was found in his girlfriend's place. So that case went up and down, and there was nothing. Arrests were made, and then later on they say, you know what? We can't blame this guy. They say he's a thief, he's a robber, and like Liberia case, you who got the money, that situation went there. And that's what caution I want us to exercise here, because if you start to put that in the hands of the community, right? People will use that, people will abuse that to start targeting their own. In fact, they will start using that as a political tool. I can tell you that. I will be a CDC guy or Unity Party guy, and if I want this group to be demolished, if I see that they're uprising in our community, we'll accuse them of drugs, and nobody's going to come there to investigate. Before the police can come in, before anybody can come in, that whole group have been either slaughtered or something bad have happened to them. Only to say, oh yeah, we found drug with them, and they were dealing drugs. So that's what I'm saying. We have to be very cautious involving the community when it comes to providing this so-called mob justice. I'm not in favor of that.
Dr. George, same question.
Oh yeah, as I said previously, mob justice they don't have the tools to identify whether the person is a drug lord or not. It based on rumor, so we can encourage whistleblowers in the community. Let them speak to the elder. In as much as you love them, you hate them, they are the people who we have charged in our country who will make them responsible for investigating drugs. So you can be a whistleblower. You can allow the police, tell the police, point out to that. You can record videos, even perhaps it may not be permissive in the court of law, but the evidence will be clear that this thing is happening, and it may give the lawyers the opportunity to use it against this person, in fact, show it to them and get a deal with them. So you can gather as much evidence as possible, but mob violence have never solved any problem anywhere in the world. It leads to more aggression. And sometimes, and I totally agree with Mr. Sapolosi on this point, the mob aggression can be targeted. It can be targeted at somebody that you don't like in the community. It can be targeted by the way, people identify people who take drugs by the way they dress, by the way they walk, by the way they talk. And the same identification you use for people with drugs is the same identification you use for people with mental illness. So, so how sure are you that this person you're pointing out to doesn't is not struggling from mental illness? And there are some there's a degree of mental illness you have to definitely take some of these drugs, these narcotics. You have to take them because those things they as Tony Hawk. I was talking about that later, but some people with mental illness have to take certain level of narcotic to keep them balanced throughout the day. So you need experts to deal with this thing. You need a professional to deal with it, so the community can become a whistleblowing community. Um, so that's my point on it. I don't think communities
And,
should
and
be after anybody.
Okay.
yeah, and Sheriff, just to when it comes to dress code in Liberia, let us not forget this. Back in the days, if you find a normal person who had just dread, he was considered a street guy. You know, is now a pattern among the African descent. People are now treating keeping dread and dressing in that form. That can be mistaken for drug addict. I mean, addicted person or drug abuser in Liberia because of the culture that is there. So we have to take all these little pieces together and consider them before we start giving these opportunity or power to the community people as well.
Okay, so I think from what I'm hearing, you both are saying the same things. Yes, while it is true that communities can be engaged, but they should not be taking the lead to actually be fighting drugs. And because another thing that could happen too, we live in I mean, our society, unfortunately, it can be a retributive society, right? It can be a society where oh, that your mom go tell people that are selling drugs, and before you know it, somebody is laying coal on the side of the road because somebody came after you. And these drug dealers, they know exactly what they're doing. You know, and so basically, yeah, why it is true that we want to fight drug, we want to be strategic. I think there was someone who posted a comment that we said no to drug, but we don't have a strategic plan. I want to push back on that comment just a little bit. We don't know. Maybe there's a plan in place. We'll still give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there's a plan in place. The government is working on those plans, and hopefully, we will see those plans actualized and brought into fruition. But I want to go to the next story, man. I didn't want to bring the next story up here because we have, but gentlemen, I don't want to cut you guys off because this is a good story. Dr. George, if you still have something you want to add to the drug story, I'll give you 1 minute. Sapolisi, I'll give you 1 minute before we transition.
And I just want to say, I know you don't want to be political, but there is no plan. We have been having this conversation since the current government was inaugurated. The president said that the fight against drugs will be public enemy number one. Why should we wait for 2 years for citizens to march in the street to work? There have been 2 years of budget that we are saying. Can any one of you go to the budget and see whether there is any line item that supports this fight against drugs? I don't think you will see anything like that. So no, as much as we don't want to be political, all these marching on the street and dancing on the street, again, I congratulate the organizers. It's a very great thing to do. But in my opinion, and being in this field for a while, is 0.00001% of this whole thing.
Okay, Sapolisi, you have a minute on this particular topic. Thank you, Dr. George.
Yes, and I agree with Dr. George. There is no plan because the drug issue we know was a big thing during the Weah government, and we saw the fight was rendered not there. And the very time the president entered, the first thing he did was to do his own drug test, emphasizing or showing that he's going to fight drugs, but there is no plan. But what I want to add to that is, in our community in Liberia, you can't walk 2 or 3 blocks that you don't see a church building. Okay, so I think that way we should start. If the government is really serious and want to be intentional about it, they need to start working with those church leaders, right, or those churches, and see how we can start fighting drugs from within the community and then push it out. I think that would be a good approach when it comes to fighting drugs in Liberia.
Thank you, Mr. Sapalucia. And just to close on this, it is not so much about the politicization. I don't think we want to politicize it. I don't think that's where I come from. But I think where I'm coming from is we come up, we say there is no plan. We don't know. And because I don't know, I don't have those details, what we are speaking to what we have not seen. But I don't know what is happening behind the scene. So until that is actually brought into fruition, I know I had some conversation with some people. Each of you guys have spoken to some people. Some people want to do individual things, lawmakers. They are saying they have individual things, but that is not a national plan. And so we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. But I want
a lawmaker take a national approach or something to be an individual thing. That is insincerity or it. They are looking for a way to make money. They want to run their own private businesses. So that is not a plan for Liberia. It's a plan for Yakpawolo and his children.
No,
And
I
if
agree.
you're
I agree, Dr. George. I think we agree on that. That's why I said that is not a national plan. That is individual plan. I think we agree.
That's not a plan for the country.
Yeah.
Let the government set aside money. Let us see that money, and let us start working to use that money to work against this thing. This is a pandemic. The same way. Again, let me say this very clear. I work in this country. I work in a drug treatment facility over the weekends, and there is a drug epidemic in the world. But people, at least, they are showing a way of combating it. I mean, a day in the facility I work in for one person treatment is $1,200. That's just the average, one person treatment. And so let them put money in the budget. Then we know that people are serious about this thing. And then we'll come and march, and then we'll know there's money, and we'll work towards it. And some of us can volunteer our time. The last time I was in Liberia, I tried to volunteer my time to at least know what structure was in the country. It was difficult for anybody to give me an appointment. And, I didn't want to use anything that we normally use as Liberians. I just felt I'm in country. Let me just see what they have for. We don't have a drug treatment facility in the country. We have rehabilitation centers. We have rehabilitation centers, and those rehabilitation centers are working with mental health. And even though they're co-occurrence that we studied, but there have to be something that is working to this on both sides. But let me not take most of the time on the program.
No. I appreciate the perspective. I mean, basically, I really do appreciate the perspective. This is a pressing issue, so I think glossing over it just like that, it will not do justice to what we really want to address. But I appreciate the perspective. So let's continue the show. And, I open the show by saying with this monologue that, look, August has been this up and down kind of month so far. Maybe I'm just now beginning to pay attention. But one of the things that's actually taking place, you have this national symbol going down, and you have other people who are dying, and there were a lot of different stories about death. But basically, I know we only focus on the ones that are national symbols. And so on the 9th of August, again, we have one of our national symbols go down. Minister Sylvester Grisby, our condolences to his family, to in the Houston area. I know Sapolu said he was very close to your community. You guys were very close in that community. But this is someone with a long history of public service in the country. At one point in time, I think he was the acting minister for foreign affairs. He also served as minister of our portfolio. I mean, so he and Joseph Boakai go all the way back. So when you think about what is happening, where do we rank? Where do we rank? I did not know about this man until quite recently. Even during the Ellen Johnson time, I knew nothing about him. So I don't know if you guys know some things that you can kind of address and talk about it, and then we'll just kind of do a quick talk and then just move on. Sapolusi, let me start with you.
Well, yeah. So as an individual, I didn't know him personally. I got to know some people that are close to him, and we try to work together for some other things that will benefit our community here in Houston. And unfortunately, it didn't work out the way it went. But I don't want to look at it as an individual. I want to look at it from the broader spectrum, where how do we appreciate those that serve in our country? Okay, and then when they go down, what do we do for their family? And I don't think we have plans for those things, for especially those who have served in the country at different positions and in different capacity and serve our nations. We don't really appreciate them. How do we deal with that? What are we doing to prepare for the future that will encourage those people to come and serve? That's how I want us to look at it, right? Not this individual.
Let me push back for a second. I'll give you a time back to you, but let me push back. In recent months, you can say I'm playing the other guy advocate, but in recent months, your president decided that, look, I'm just going to rebury all of these people. I will rebury the late President Dole. I will rebury Tauber, and all these people. So we're doing some things in the country. What do you say to that? Man, you're laughing. Go for it, sir.
Yes. I mean, again, I appreciate what he's doing but it's under a banner that says reconciliation. That is something completely different from appreciating those who have served the country. He's doing it under the reconciliation or peace matter. That's what he's using, right? Because these people, most of these people that he's reburying are people who fell at the hand of another person. So it could be
Should
something
we
that
have a cemetery? Should we have a cemetery set aside like we do in DC and say, oh, this plot is only for national symbols? You know.
and I think Doe tried to do that right around the LBS back there. I know why back in the 80s that was something he brought up and he tried to do, but the so-called power to be at the time, some of them fought against it. But I think we should have, and I will go back, not just to top people. Like when we talked the last time about this stuff, I said we always recognize Doe at the top. What's about the police guy? What's about the military? Okay, in the United States, you and I know almost every city you go in, you have the veteran cemetery that the government is responsible for, whether the local or federal government is responsible for. What are we doing in Liberia? There are people before the war we did not experience the importance of the military, but the war came and showed us the importance of our military. We have graduated from the war. What plans have we put in place besides
Okay.
seeing their widows going and demonstrating for their back pay?
Sabulista,
What
after
plans
the
do we
show,
have?
Sabulista, after the show, your inbox is going to be flooded. Somebody's going to be texting you and telling you, do not compare America with Liberia. But Dr. Josh, let me come to you, sir. Let me come to you. The same question. Our national heroes, our national symbol. Address River says pro question when you do during your response, Dr. Josh. Go ahead. As we talk about the late Sylvester Grisby.
First of all, let me extend my deepest condolences to the Graceway family. Uh, your dad, uncle, grandfather served our country, and to the best of my knowledge, he served our country well. There was another Graceway, Haven Graceway, that was very close to my father. He served as Minister of Sports during during Samuel Doe administration. So the family seems to have served the nation well over the years. So my deepest condolences to the family. Now, when it comes to heroes of our country, patriotic citizens who decide to take the unappreciated position of serving, I agree with Mr. Sapolusia. There should be something in the law, but at the end of the day, when the legal government drop and they talk, I don't feel sorry for them. To be honest with you, I mean, I served in an organization one time. The Secretary General of that organization served for 20 years. He was the Secretary General. He was responsible for the policy making of the organization. After 20 years, we went to a meeting and they removed him. When they removed him on Friday, Saturday, we all prayed together. On Monday, they told him to leave his office. And Wednesday, they told him to put his thing in a container so they can bring it back to Africa. There were many people who were angry, furious at how you had it. But I sat and I told myself for 20 years, this person was responsible for making policy. 20 years. And the same policy that he was responsible for 20 years that he did not change. And the same policy was telling him to leave for an office on Monday morning and to back for the house by Wednesday. 20 years he had a policy. He was implementing it on other people, and I believe he may have been enjoying it. And that's the thing that happened with our societies. We don't make law thinking about what will happen down the line. That I too, something can happen to me. And these laws are set so that they will be able to protect to protect me in the future and protect other people who are alive right now. We don't do that in our societies. So I don't feel, again, I'm deeply sorry for the situation. I'm impressed by how he has served our country. But those who are responsible for policies, when the same policies that you have been responsible for 40, 50, 60 years of your life, you have not changed that policy, I don't feel sorry for you at the end of the day. Because you had every opportunity in your life to make things better for me and make things better for everybody around you. And if you did not in that time change it, why should I be sorry? If that the same policy you left on the book they are implementing on you, why should I feel sorry for you? So I hope this is advice for the younger generation. I have shared in one of my chat room, if you go to the Texas House of Representatives, at the back of the Texas House of Representatives, they have the pictures of all the representatives. And then in the middle, they have their grandchildren in the middle. And the reason for that is to tell them that whenever you make law in this building, it's going to affect your grandchildren. So you have to think smart about the laws you're making because it's going to affect your grandchildren. And it's symbolic. It may not seem that they're following it, but it's there in the Texas represented at the back. That picture is there with their grandchildren there to always remind them. And I hope as we make laws in Liberia, we'll realize that it's very important for us to realize that every law will either affect me when I retire or it will affect my children in the future. So I don't feel sorry in that position.
All right, Dr. George. Again, as each of us have said, I think our condolences go out to the Gillespie family. And again, this segment was not just to bring out dirt about whatever happened. We did not want to dwell on any of that. We did not want to go into his work. I mean, we just know that he served the country for over 40 years or close to 40 years. So he and Boakai are very good friends, very, very good friends, because they serve around the same time and they've been in that public space for such a long, long time. So our sincere apology, gratitude to the family, and thank you for your service. That's the least we can do, at least on our platform, to recognize and send our condolences to the family as well.
Yeah, and Mr. Sherry, let me just end with Russell Probe.
No, you didn't want to answer the main question. I'm not giving you any more time. You didn't want to touch it.
So I wanted to answer River's question.
Okay, yes. No, Sabulisha touch it because Dr. George took more than his a lot of time. Go ahead.
Yeah, because the question River is, but why should we encourage a patriot to serve their own country? Isn't that a duty? Well, you see, and the reason some of us will refer to other countries is because of the good experiences that are there that can benefit us as the people in Liberia. You see, there are certain positions, and that's why I said I didn't want to dwell on those top people. I want to go to the lower people. I talk about the policemen, I talk about the army or the military. Those are the people I want to look at because those are the people who go out there. Dr. George talk about policymakers. These people are not making policies. Military don't make policies. They sit there and then people make policies for them. Right, and all they got to do is follow those instructions, and that's why I don't want to limit it to the top people. I want to go to the people who are actually in the field. Now, we don't want to encourage them to serve in those positions because they are sacrificing for their country, especially our military, our police officers. You, River says, Pro, I know you've been to Liberia, and you see those police guys that are staying in the street. Okay, they're sending the dust. They're not getting their underpaid. Some of them purchase their own uniform, even though they're serving the public. And when there is the drug stuff we're talking about right now, the drug crisis that we're talking about resolving, these are the people that are going to be on the front line to combat the drugs, right? When you talk about war enter your country or even peacekeeping, we're sending our military there. So yes, in order to encourage them for the next generation to go in their place, there must be something that can entice people to those positions. I'm not talking about the political appointees because those are people who, where the sunshine is where they hang their clothes. But I'm talking about our people, the actual national heroes. And I'm not saying those who serve in that position, they're not national heroes, no. But I'm talking about our day-to-day people, the police officers, the immigration
Dr. George,
officers.
I'll be fair to you. I'll give you 30 seconds.
But who don't hang their clothes where the sunshine? Tell me that person.
Especially during the rainy season in Liberia.
You get dry in your house for washing machine, but who don't go to wedding? But no, I mean, one of my friends put on her Facebook page this week. I think she started with, "Wow, I didn't know. I've not heard anything positive Minister Gillespie on that he passed away." And I think that's the thing here. We do not appreciate our heroes as Liberians. We do not appreciate people who serve. We think that everybody in service to the country, they are stealing government money and this one and that one. We don't appreciate them. So that's why we should encourage patriotic people to join politics. A few years ago, there was this common saying, right? The people who are literate, who are highly literate, do not want to go into politics. So they are normally the one teaching in the classroom, while the people who are illiterate go into politics and they are the one running the country. So we have illiterate people running the country and the literate people. So we have to encourage literate people to be part of this political process. That's what we do every time. We have to encourage people to be part of, because it's a process that you don't get any clap most of the time. People are always watching you, thinking you are stealing government money, but they don't know. And some of you have been lucky to be near power, right? There are so many amenities just by serving as the minister of state. There are people who wants to see the president who bring gifts to you. There are people who just want your attention, who want you to just be their friend. They invite you to places. It doesn't mean that you are corrupt. It only means that because of your access to power, people want to feed on that access to power. But we don't congratulate these people for the kind of countless of work they do. So we have to encourage people to be a part of, to patriarchs to be a part of it. Yes, I agree with you. But on the same hand, when the patriarchs be a part of it, they should make policy. And I definitely agree with my sister Caroline Wallo. I think I wrote a piece on that recently in one of my chat rooms. The Nigerian president recently, he died in London. And Boakai, he went to London to die. While he was in London dying, I learned the other one, Abu Bakr Adu Salami, he's in hospital in London. Why we can't build our own, so that the time to travel from Liberia to seek medical help, that is not a program for today. But I think we should start thinking about this. And because good people have to go through all this process, and by the time you fly, it's an issue. But let me stop.
That Sapolutia segment that will bring it on.
I have done 3 shows on that particular stuff.
But gentlemen, I appreciate your perspective, and Sapolutia, you are becoming Dr. Rice. I mean, you're getting the free doctor title.
And I keep running away from it, right? I keep running away from it. People keep bringing it back.
The real doctor in the middle of this screen right here, the man pulled doctor in front of you. But they're giving you the free doctor thing. Tell them you doctor. Tell them you work for AO.
I keep telling them every time I come, I gotta remind them, my people are not doctor. I let my leg corner in.
All right, but gentlemen, let's move forward. Like I said, August has been busy, so I really like the way the flow of the conversation. We'll beg our guys in studio to give us 5 minutes if they can. But I really want us to touch on the 13th of August. The president, he called this high-level cabinet meeting. And, looking through documents and looking at Front Page Africa and listening to Jeremy Lake, Pierre, the information minister, the whole goal there was they want to focus on economic issues, and they want to actually develop strategies to increase domestic resource mobilization and due to the significant cut in international aid. That's a different story. I'll come to that. I'll bring that question up later. But I really want to focus on this whole economic issue. It was very peculiar to me, Dr. George, that the president was calling this meeting 2 days after Caroline's best friend, what's his name? DeLong. Darius DeLong go up there. He had this post that he posted up there saying the country is hard, and he's making fun of people who come and beg. In my opinion, he was making fun of the people. He said, even 10 people come to your office, you give 5 money, the other 5, they will go home, they'll be angry, and they would never be satisfied. And they want to take you out of power. 2 days after that video surfaced, the president was calling his meeting. And then before you know it, all of these high-level cabinets were coming together. And those that were going to present at that cabinet level meeting, the Minister of Finance, Augustin Kwehe Gafuan, you're going to have the LRA, the commissioner there, they're going to speak. And then the central bank is going to be speaking, and then you're going to have the advisors to the president on economic issue. They're going to be speaking. Dr. George, why now? Where are we economically? If there's no smoke, these people say where there's smoke, right, there's fire, right? Dr. George, let's address the economic
I
issue.
know you left out to be political on this show, but I will try my best not to be political. Let me.
I don't like for you to be political on my show, but I like for you guys to be honest.
Yes, so yeah, it's good to be honest. These people are close to not being serious, because you said that meeting took place on August 13, right? I start following them a lot. Okay, August 60, August 60, 80% of the cabinet traveling to Japan. Can you imagine that? 80% of our cabinet traveling with the president to Japan. So if they are talking about domestic issue on August 13, why are they flying on the 16th? You would think that the president will carry a few people and say, okay, you guys go stay home and see how we can develop this thing. And it also comes to the drug issue. The reason why we say drug fight is also holistic, when you take people from the street and rehabilitate them, you have to find something to do. So in the whole cycle of change, in the stages of change we discuss in drugs, in the middle of that stage is something we call relapse. It can happen at any time of that stage of change, relapse.
Yeah.
So if you pull someone from the street and you rehabilitate them, and we are not creating jobs in the country, what do you think is going to happen? If you stop Peter from selling drugs and you don't have job for him to do, and you don't have income for your family, what do you think is going to happen 6 months or 1 year down the road? So I agree with what they are doing. There's a need for us to sit down as Liberians, look in Liberia to see how we can develop our economy, how we can, what we have as a country to offer the rest of the world. One of the reasons why when our president came to the US, when Donald Trump called his attention, he was saying yes sir, is because he did not know he was a president of a sovereign country. And since he did not know it, by the time Donald Trump called, he said yes sir. Yes sir. Now what you can do? Because you don't have anything. If you don't have something to bring to the table, you will always believe that the other people on the table are much better than you. But when you sit down on a table and you know that you have something to offer on that table, you will know that those people will treat you as equals and they will respect you being seated on the table.
Okay, so, Sabu Lucia, let me come to you, Sabu Lucia. Dr. George, I hate to cut you out, but we running out of time here. Time is money. Dr. Sabu Lucia, let me no. Let me come to you.
So Sheriff, to be realistic, our people are not intentional about addressing any issues in Liberia. That was just another way for them to waste the Liberian people money and say we're having to show to the Liberian people, or to elude the Liberian people to say they're doing something. Just like we pay the guys that go to the Capitol building for weeks, we pay them millions of dollars every year, and there is no concrete law that's coming out to benefit that the people benefit from. That's the same thing. You cannot tell me that your country economic is stagnant, but you're taking 40 people from Liberia to go to Japan, and among those people you have no businessmen going. Look, let's just look at it. Let me just give you an example. I know they're always quick to say don't compare this to this, but look at Vladimir Putin when he met Trump. He brought very few people in his government and brought more business people who are going to talk business issues that will bring business to Russia. That's what you do. But if you look at the president entourage, most of them are either lawmaker, a minister that has no plan that he's going with, or some relative. So if you are really intentional about addressing economic situations, those are people you're supposed to take. People who got economic ideas. People who go in there to solicit businesses to come back, to create businesses or corporations or companies back to the country. Then you're telling me, yes, I want to address the economic situation in the country. But if you're going with senators,
I will bring business back to your country when all your ambassadors low hungry. Well, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. So you gotta be that's your job. So you gotta be intentional about it, right? Because look at the list of those that are going with the president. What value are they going to Japan with, and what are they bringing back? Nothing. Most of the people are going for vacation.
That's the reason your ambassador should not go hungry, because he's going to be the one that is going to stay there and do the negotiation. But 95% of your ambassadors, they're low hungry. They are struggling. They are suffering.
You said they look.
Dr. George,
you said they look.
Dr. George, you saying that, but you know what?
They don't look. They are hungry.
So, gentlemen, but I want to get to another point here. We got about 7 minutes here to go. I want to get to another point. this forum actually came together, and they were very clear. They told us exactly what they want to do. They said, "Look, we want to go." This was very funny. They said they want to go and work on developing strategies to increase domestic resources, right? Because of the cost of foreign aid, the cost of foreign aid. So, Dr. Josh, I'm asking you this question: is the government reacting? Are they reacting versus were they supposed to be, proactive? Because what happened though, I mean, so you were depending on this foreign aid the entire time. You did not really look at your own budget. Look at me, for example. If I'm working, I got a paycheck coming, and then I'm sitting there and I say, oh, I will actually base my budget, my monthly budget for my bills. I'm going to base it based on my raise if my employer give me a raise or they give me bonus. Instead of working on my with this particular this particular paycheck that I know is guaranteed, I start thinking when I get raised, then this is what I'm going to. By the time that raise doesn't come, my entire budget fall apart. Are we reacting versus being proactive when it comes to our national budget?
If we're even reacting, Mr. Sherry, forgive me. If we're reacting, that's something. At least we're doing something. But we are not reacting. We don't care.
Well, I mean, in this one, they said they are meeting to actually put strategies together now.
Oh, Donald Trump has been president of this country now almost hitting 2 years. It's 1.5 years. That policy has been there since he came in office. So it's in August 2025, we realized something that had been discussed in 2023 since he was on a campaign trail. Serious country. This week I listened to the Nigerian Minister of Finance. I hope you guys see that tape and listen to it. That lady had an interview with the BBC, with CNN, CNN business correspondent, what a guy named. And in that interview, she had a clear strategy that Nigeria was moving sensitive business discussion from the US. They were now engaging other parts of the world.
But do you know Nigeria did not have to switch ministers in the middle of their first term? I mean, your government, you did not even go your first year. You switch. I mean,
before I don't take that thing when they are talking it. Before you become minister or anything, the president can call you. You will agree before he send your letter. And when you agree, you should know the challenges that is to the office you're going to take. That is excuse. But let me tell you this. Yesterday, I discovered this is shocking. I hope it shocked other people as it shocked me. Do you know that our say in Liberia now is being sold by Chinese people? When you want to build your house in Monroe, Chinese people said it.
No. Yes, it's been happening a long time. It's been happening for a long time.
Do you know? No. So the Chinese people now coming to our country, businesses are supposed to be for Liberia. Are you telling me that the Minister of Mines, who is my very good friend, I think I have to send you a text on this issue. And do you want to tell me that the Minister of Finance and all those people in the country don't know that the Chinese have come and taken Liberian businesses away from them? How about the Lebanese people who are selling sachet water? Is the sales of what I don't know how we call that water, the water in the bag, the sachet water, that is a Liberian business. It's not a Lebanese business. So if these people are serious about turning the economy around, they should start going in a commerce document and say these businesses are exclusively Liberian business. I think I got to start taking money from some of you and start hiring lawyers in Liberia to sue the Liberian government. And because we have not been suing our government, that's why they play all these things with us. But some of us need to start finding money to sue our government because they are not implementing the policies that they have in their book and it's against the law. We need to take some of these ministers to court. We need to take them to the code of law, and we need journalists to follow us when we go to the code of law. I think that's an advocacy that I've been playing in my head in recent time. We need to start suing these people because we are not suing them; they are not taking it serious. Why would a Chinese man be selling in our country? For God's sake, why would a Lebanese
Dr. George, I will give you your time here so you can go grab a cold glass of water because I think your temperature is rising, and I appreciate it. Let's talk to Sapalucia. Sapalucia, we got about a minute here to go.
So yeah, I'm not going to take a minute, but let me tell you, I think I addressed this before. I said there's a principle that we always ignore in Liberia. Remember when we had a discussion before, I referenced the Ebola virus. Okay. First, when we had the Ebola virus in Liberia, there was they created the national or what this guy was heading, Tobo was heading, or National Institute of Health or something like that. He created that. That you ask whether we are reacting or proactive. Dr. George rightly answered it. We are not serious. Okay. In order for you right now, this my message is not to the current government. My message is now to the opposition. You as an opposition, you are a government in waiting. You shouldn't wait to be elected before you start forming your cabinet, before you start identifying people in your political party who knows what to do. If you don't have a plan now, then just dissolve your political party. Because
I mean,
we're tired with this same old
they
thing
gotta
going
wait
on.
to hear who's gonna say Zekwe the highest before they choose that
Yeah,
cabinet.
we have to. We shouldn't be wasting our energy to behind people who think they want to be in government and they don't even know what government is about. So if you're an opposition political party and you don't have a strategic plan for the country, don't waste your time. Just forget about it and let the current government continue doing the thing they're doing. That's all I got to say about that.
All right, gentlemen. I really wish that we could continue the segment, but my office in Monrovia, the radio station, they're just saying, look, gentlemen, we got to go. You got 1 hour. So let's end this conversation. Dr. Josh, I'm going to give you 1 minute. You can choose any of the topic we discussed and just close on it. Sapolusa, you get 1 minute, and then we'll just end the broadcast for today.
I think the issue of drugs is a national issue that every one of us should take seriously. Those of us who are in the field and others, we need to support our country and support the young men and women that are struggling with this. This is a holistic fight. It's a fight we have to deal with the suppliers, and we also have to deal with the demand. To those who are buying it. We need to rehabilitate our youth, but when we rehabilitate our youth, they need to have jobs to do. Our country needs to start creating jobs. We had a segment some time ago where I asked, we need to sue our Minister of Labor so they can tell us every month how many people were employed in our country, so we can have an idea and be able to work against that. But thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. Look forward to seeing you next time.
You know, I want to also talk to my cousin-in-law. She said I'm not prepared for this conversation, cause I'm doing something behind the scene, so I won't open my mouth. Sapolusi at all.
Yeah, so I want to look at the economic point, right? Look, for so long, our country have failed. Previous government have failed the young people and, in fact, the population at large, because we get there with all this zikwe stuff, and when we get into power, all we want to do is enrich ourselves. If Liberia is really serious to empower its citizens, use what you have. Okay, we got a youthful population. We got a very fertile soil. We have good weather system that can be empowering the Liberians from within before you start looking for foreign aid. Usage should not be part of your plan when you are serious coming to office. You should have programs in place to tackle all of these issues outside of the outside or external support. In my home, I don't want that to send me $20 before I pay my rent, or when I make my budget in the year, I don't wait for Sherry to say, Sherry, you can send $2, send me. No, I make my budget based on my income. Liberia government should start doing this thing. That's the only way we can move from where we are to move forward. Other than that, we're going to be recycling the same old thing, the same principles that the previous government can apply. It's a waste of our time, it's a waste of our energy, it's a waste of our. With that, I want Liberians, those who thank you all. We appreciate you. Coming next.
All right. Okay. So next week we're gonna have the real doctor here. We are gonna be talking about mental health Sunday. Dr. Quida Roberts. She just came from Liberia. She's gonna be joining me next week. I'll be hosting her. I'm not even going to be hosting her. This is her platform, so she's going to be here. She's going to be discussing some of what she saw in Liberia. But on this note, we want to say thank you to our friends in Monrovia, Freedom FM 87.9. Thank you so much for taking this program live. Dr. George, thank you for your perspective. Dr. Sapolusia, quote unquote, Dr. Sapolusia, thank you for your time. And everyone who contributed your comments and those who are sharing the broadcast, we say thank you. Continue the conversation, and we do this for all Liberians. I mean, this is for the interest of Liberia. This is not to come and politicize the issue, but to speak to what is happening on the ground. On that note, we say stay safe, God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you all next week Sunday. Stay safe.